may have more lined up, but we want to have time for everyone to show at least one or two. Some of us may not have pieces to show. That's okay. We're just along for, the enjoyment. Next month, we're going to do bracelets. So we'll meet on March 28th, which is also a Friday night, and we'll do any kind of bracelets at all, okay? Bracelets that we made, bracelets that we've collected, whatever, okay? So, hi, Carol, on your iPhone. Welcome. You're just connecting to the audio now. I'm hoping we'll see you, Carol. Laura, do you want to take it away?
I do, sure. Okay, so I am gonna, what I usually do is I kind of go through and I'm gonna read you guys off, in the order in which you appear on my screen. That's usually the easiest way for me to keep track of it. If you have stuff, please share it. If you don't, that's fine. We just love to have people here anyway, so just tell me you're here to check it out. But what I'm gonna do is yeah, have each of you, show us your pieces, tell us a little bit about it. And then if anyone has questions, we can do the questions and stuff. I think that's nice as well. So and we'll go all the way through, and then if there's more time, we can go through again or whatever. So I'm gonna start with, because I always like to start with Maggie, make Maggie go
Of
first.
course. Okay.
Example.
I
So.
don't do a lot of florals, and the other floral I do is saved for bracelets next week, now that we've decided on that. Or next month, excuse me. But this is the War of the Roses necklace that I did. I was watching, the White Princess, that whatever princess was on, about medieval. You remember that show? Anybody? About, the War of the Roses.
Mm.
Duh. And so this was when they came together under Tudor. Correct me if I'm wrong, Laura. You know more about this than I do. So I did the focal bead as the actual Tudor rose when Henry, whatever his name is, brought the two families, the two sides together. And these are the house. Jesus, what are the houses called, Laura?
Because there was the Yorkshire Rose, and then
Yes.
what was the other one? I don't know. But then they combined
Yeah,
into the Tudor Rose,
they
which is
combined. So this was one house, and this was the other house, the white. And so then they combined under, I don't think it's Henry VIII, I think it was his father, but I could be wrong. So this is a piece I did do after watching all those shows and reading about this time, which I can't remember, which is really nice. Anyway, so this piece took me forever to write the instructions just because of the rose here.
It's
Oh,
so,
that's just magnificent.
Oh, thank you, Becca. You're my favorite. Have I ever told you that? No, you're. I use that a lot for those who don't know me. But so this took me quite some time to design and to write it up. And it's pretty much just circular peyote using some Super 8 beads. And I don't know. I can't even remember. And then this is bezeled crystals. And then I use the Weechel stitch, which I know I've gotten some grief off and on culturally appropriate and all that stuff, but I don't care. I learned it from somebody else. So I did the Weechel stitch, which works up quickly and makes a nice flower. And so I did them in that. And that's the piece. And then this was done with the half rounds. Is that what they're called, you guys? Half rounds? 11, they're the
You mean demis?
demis, that's it, demi rounds, and that's it. That's what I made, and I taught it for a little while, and then no more. So, but it was a fun piece to design, and but next to what I call my necklace from hell, which I haven't shown because I only taught it twice and people walked out. This is the hardest piece I've ever designed.
So Maggie, I couldn't see the beads really clearly. Are they seed beads in the
Yes,
that are all the petals?
Valerie,
yes.
did you want to
I
spotlight
have,
Maggie?
huh?
yeah, I will. Thank you, Carol. Yeah.
There are, hold on, let me look. There are 11 rounds in the flower, okay? In the main flower, the leaves are made with cylinder beads. The center of the Tudor rose is size 15s.
Oh, gorgeous.
And then the Weechel flowers are done totally with 15s. But once again, the leaves are used in cylinder beads.
Beautiful.
Wow,
Cool.
gorgeous.
Thank you. Thank you. It was fun.
Nice.
Beautiful.
And it's in your book, right? It's in your book.
No, it's not my
No,
book.
it's not in her book.
This was a class I taught. I still have the pattern available. It's probably about 45 to 50 pages.
Mine. Okay. All
Okay,
right.
yeah. But I do still, if anybody's interested, they can contact me. But it was a fun piece to design. But I think I made that center rose like at least 4 or 5 times, if not more.
Okay.
That's my flower contribution.
Maggie, how are you spelling Weechel? I don't know that stitch.
Oh, it's
Oh.
HUI.
Oh, I do know. I didn't know that's how you pronounced it. Okay. HUICHOL.
Yes, that's it. And originally I got a little bit of grief
Thank you.
about using it from culturally appropriate, and that's fine. But I did learn it from someone who is a Weechel Indian and shared it. So,
Cool.
my feeling on this stuff is if you don't share it, it gets lost. I learned that living in Italy. They don't share a darn thing. So if you don't share it, everything gets lost. And so that's why I believe in just continuing to share stitches.
Well, I'm just glad to hear it pronounced. I never knew. I've seen it written, but never knew how you pronounced it. So thank you.
I've never heard it. If I did, I didn't know what it was. I've never heard it before. So
It's a
Thank you.
form of netting. It's just a form of netting.
And it's
oh, okay.
ancient. It's ancient. It's not just used by the Huichol. It's used by cultures
Oh.
all over the world since about 2500 BC in Egypt.
Oh wow.
That we know of. So it's not just among the Huichol. And so anyone who accuses you of using it inappropriately is just misinformed,
Wow, I didn't know it's that old, this technique.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, I don't know if
Oh, leave it to Valerie to know the whole history behind it. Good girl, Valerie.
Our history gal.
it's kind of, good stuff to know. I don't know if the ancient
Yeah.
Egyptians did it with multiple threads or one, continuous thread, but it kind of doesn't matter. The pattern is the same. The concept is the same,
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
Huichol. They do it beautifully, but other people
Yeah.
do it too,
Well, that's like even the Weechel, if I can just tell one more quick story. The Weechel Indians also do beautiful bead mosaics with the hole facing up into the wax. Okay. And if you look at them, they do a lot of animals and very colorful. And I thought it was only that technique was attributed only to them. But I was in Murano many years ago, and if there's a small bead museum behind this church, and sure enough, from the 1600s, there was a complete bead mosaic of the Virgin Mary, and it was all holes up into wax. So,
well, it kind of makes you wonder now that you mention it, is that where the Huichol got it? I don't mean to belittle their culture, but just like, did they see, a Catholic artifact? I don't know. It's just,
I have no idea. It's interesting to follow that up, maybe.
or did the Catholics take it from the Huichol? Sorry.
Yeah, it could be.
Or is it just independent innovation, which it could be too?
Could be too. Yeah. Definitely.
Anyway, I'll research that for next month.
Excellent, thank you. And I'd like to see this piece that you saw in the Bead Museum.
I may have a picture of it. I'll have to go through all my
I've never
things.
seen things like that, ever.
Cool.
All right, Laura?
Okay, Nancy, Kane, you're up.
Hey.
Going to-
So I had no idea what this was about. I thought it was you guys all chatting amongst yourself about, the three of you, Laura and Maggie and Valerie, talking about, beadwork, and we were just going to be a fly on the wall. So I have a piece next to me, which I'll preface a little bit. It's not flower, it could be flowery. but probably 2 or 3 years ago, I bought some 40 millimeter Swarovski 2035s,
Mm-hmm.
and they were supposed to be inverted, which means that the coating is on the bump side and you look through it and the flat side forward. So I designed a piece using that, and I went and ordered,
I never heard
I
of
don't know, 6 factory packs
Mm-hmm.
of it with the inversion, and
I
they
know.
were not. They were coated on the flat side.
Oh boy.
And I didn't open them until I bought them because I wanted to have them in inventory, and they were bump side coated.
Ooh.
I just sat here and went, oh my God, these things are not cheap. And here I've got it all in crystal. So I had a little meltdown. I knew there was nothing I could do. It was 2 years post. So I thought, well, I'll design something. What are you going to do?
Mm.
So I decided they just look like moons. So I decided I'm going to design this thing called Full Moon. Somebody was just coming in my back door. And so this is a prototype. So this is the face of it. And this is a 40 millimeter stone.
That is beautiful.
And the flat side is the back side. That's where the coating is. So I made a feather. I ended up, are you guys familiar with Chipita?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not.
From the 80s? She made it huge.
Well, that's
She
cool.
is about an hour and a half from me.
Yeah.
And I go down and she lets me shop her back stock. So I got a bunch of vintage pink beads, and I decided on the backside I would graph a quarter moon.
Oh, I love it.
And the prototype, I mean, can you hold on 1 second?
I'm gonna go for a walk.
Okay.
Of course.
Okay. Sorry. I have some gapping in here. I have to adjust it a little bit, but I put a Rosemonte in here, and it turns out when rifling through my stock, I have some Bermuda blue and Sahara in this. So I have blue moon, an eclipse moon, and full moon. So it's just been really fun to take me out of my box. What am I going to do with, a box of crystals that are so expensive? I can piecemeal them out, but this was really fun. It's not that hard. And trying to figure out how to graph a moon doing reductions in circular peyote was truly challenging.
Yeah, I bet. That's a
That's
beautiful
so-
piece, Nancy.
Gorgeous.
Thank you. And it's really fun. And I was making the one rope, and this was the attachment point was down here. And then each side would have this little strip of peyote, well, netting on each side. And I was like, you know what? I do that all the time. I do the same freaking technique. And so I laid that component on the top side to make a T-bar on the top, which I really liked the balance of it. So this was really a spontaneous project that just came about out of absolute necessity, and it became one of the most fun things I've done. And if I can do a little more detail stuff on the backside, when you do a bezel, you've got it sitting right on the beadwork. It goes in about, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch. You bead out. And then to start graphing it, I realized I have to start the graphing of it right on the bezel. As soon as I start my first couple rows, I mean, it's hard enough to have students do something that's with 15s on a 40 millimeter and walk and chew gum, follow a graph or follow an order. So I thought that's just torture teaching. Torture for the student too.
Mm-hmm.
So what I did is I did a stitch in the ditch along the perimeter of the outside of it. And then I started my reduction from the stitch in the ditch. So it's like a drum sheet on the back side of it. You've got an 1/8 of an 11 bead space
Okay.
between the back of the crystal. So you're not likely to nick the coating. And then you can start your graphing right on the very edge of the piece, right along this edge here.
Right.
Yeah.
And it makes stitching, you know, following the circular. I have like a Picasso bead on the background, and I'm going to switch it to a frosted black because the variegated, it was hard to keep track of where you were. When you've got 15s and it's variegated and some beads are bluer or blacker or grayer, it took a lot of concentration. So I was going to teach it for Florida this year. And I thought, I need some time in this one to really, if I'm going to pull this off, I want it to be really good. And I want to have that quarter moon on the back.
Mhm.
So anyway, it was really a fun thing to do. And I just happened to pull it out to start thinking about it again because I'm ready to dive into it and clean it up and whatnot. So
Nice.
so
Awesome.
anyway,
Thank
Very
you
cool.
for showing us. It's beautiful. You know what? And you're right. And when we first started this group, this meeting, it was just us mostly talking among each other and sharing recipes and stuff like that, mocktail recipes and food recipes and stuff like that. At a certain point, we decided it's getting, it's just not enough energy, between the three of us. We wanted to bring, share things more broadly. And it's just been much better since we extended out, to have everybody contribute and to turn it into a show and tell. Because everyone has something, they can show and tell usually for most categories. You're right. You're right. It used to be like that.
Mhm.
well, this has been fun. I had no idea I would even talk about this. This has been just in my wheelhouse, in my house, just hanging out. And I look at it and go, I like it.
You like that?
It's
Perfect.
pretty. I love the
It's
back
different.
I
there.
think it's really cool that you're doing something on the back as well as the front, because most people ignore it, and then the coatings, if you don't have something on the back, they wear away.
Right. I
Yeah.
really enjoy the back because the first thing people do when they look at your necklace is they're like, oh, they look at the back.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
it
details in
had to have something more than just a big old honking crystal. I mean, I needed a story to go with it.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So
very
Agreed.
cool.
Agreed.
Awesome.
Right.
anyway,
You want to find
Yeah.
somebody?
Let's see, Carole Tripp. You are next on my screen.
Am I? Okay. Well, I have some small flowers that I made many, many years ago with Margot Field, and they are netted. And that's pretty much all. They're on wire stems, and there's, a couple different varieties of them. There's like a little bud here, and
They're lovely.
there's some leaves,
What
but
are they 15s, Carole? What size beads
yeah,
are they?
they're 15s.
Mhm.
And they were fun to make, and that's as many as I made, and that's all they're going to be.
That's what you got.
They've been living with some other beaded flower beads that Kendra Norsigian made in another container in my dust-proof closet over there, or display case. But I put them in something else that I could show today.
Okay, can you hold them up again? Because I didn't really get to see them. And these are beaded?
They're
Because
really
they don't look
beautiful.
They're
beaded.
beaded. They're beaded. They're 15s, and they
amazing.
they're netted.
But
So
they're
what-
so lovely. Look at them. They're almost
So delicate, yeah.
translucent. That's the word for
And they're
that.
done. I don't get done a lot of things.
they're very cute.
I know that feeling.
What technique are the petals made in?
They're netted.
Yeah, very cool.
Can you flex the frames around them? Or are they fixed?
No, they're floppy. The stem is stiff, but they have a little, I forget, is that the sepal part? That's the green part, and then they've got a couple of leaves. So
Mhm.
they're supported by Margot Field was very good with flowers. She had all the
Yes.
different parts, and
She was.
a
She was
master.
really good at flowers.
yes.
Yeah.
So they look like violets.
I'm not good with flowers. I like them. I like I don't really like live flowers. I like them when they're living on a plant, but I don't like them cut because then they die.
Mhm.
So I don't know what they are.
Well, they're
Is there
pretty.
is there any wire in it, Carol, or it's all beads?
They're all beads except for the stem. The stem is wire, and they're beads on the stem in assorted greens so that they have, a little bit of, textural visual to them. So this one has like light and dark green, and this one has mostly darker greens, but there's matte and shiny and AB greens on all the stems.
Mixed up. Cool.
They're beautiful.
Very nice.
So lifelike.
Thanks.
Excellent.
Excellent.
Okay, well, Billy, you're up next.
Okay.
Well, unfortunately, I don't have anything. I was just concentrating on getting on Zoom today. Because,
And you did it.
You did
yeah,
it.
I did. I mean, I marked it on my calendar. And I probably did have something in there in my bedroom that I could have brought out, but I didn't. So the next time I will participate more. I've been concentrating on Sabine's classes that I took, the 2 classes that I took while she was here. And actually, I forgot to go look for something, but I did write it on my calendar. I wanted to make sure that I showed up because I never do Zoom. So I'm encouraging myself to get onto Zoom and to even take a Zoom class. I wasn't sure what was going to happen today, but I'm here. So I don't have a project to show though.
Oh,
Not
no.
All right,
time.
we're glad you're here. We're
Yeah.
glad you're
Happy-
Yes.
Here, let
I've
me,
learned a lot just from 2 people already. Words
Yeah.
that I didn't even know.
I have a question for you. If you were going to make a beaded flower in some beading technique, I don't know what would you make and what technique would you use?
Probably a right angle weave or a peyote. Those are my 2 favorite stitches. And Carol said she didn't like live flowers. Well, I live in the country and I am a flower girl. I have a yard full of baskets sitting out there now, waiting for the gardener to get here tomorrow morning at 7:30. I am a flower person. I have a huge yard full of flowers. I mean, real ones.
Wow.
Well, I like the real ones when they're growing outside, but once you cut them, then they're going to die and then they don't look so pretty anymore.
No, they
But-
don't.
But
When I first moved here 30 years ago, I used to cut flowers every day. I got tired of cleaning them up when they died and dropped on the, the counter on the floor. So I very seldom cut flowers, but I have a beautiful yard. Beautiful. I
I'm
feel like
guilty.
I'm bragging. Well, I am because I spend a lot of money and a lot of work out there. More time than I do beading. I work in the yard more than I bead.
It's a lot of work.
That's good.
It
I-
is.
Yeah.
See,
I have to say I cut flowers. I'm sorry. I cut flowers.
that's okay.
Right
Well-
now is camellia season here,
Yes.
and I cut them and I float them in a dish with water on my dining room table.
Oh, I
Now,
bet that's beautiful.
Also taking a mixed media class where she talks about cutting flowers and letting them die and see what will happen with the colors and how you integrate them. So I'm guilty.
It's okay. That we all-
Handcuff me, but I like to cut flowers.
We love
The
you when
thing is, even if they're out in nature and not cut, they're still gonna die. A flower only has a certain amount of life, and then it's
Right.
still gonna die.
So that's my story and I'm sticking to it.
Good. It's a good story.
Oh. Well, Nina, you're next up.
Okay.
Okay, well, I do have some flowers to show, and let's see if I can get them because they're small. But this is
Ooh.
okay. So this is something that, and I have several of them. I actually had these on a Halloween necklace, but I took it apart because I'm not wearing it anymore. These were actually taught by somebody at the Dallas Bead Society, but unfortunately, they did not. The instructions that I got don't have a name. But
Oh,
at the Texas Bead Retreat.
That's a Gwen Fisher pattern.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll write that down because it's not on here. There's nowhere that says
The name of the people is Bead Infinitum.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. And then the other one was taught at the Texas Bead Retreat. This one I do know. It is an Isabella Lamb Hut Hassani from 2010.
It's beautiful.
Oh, these were fun. These were real fun to make and really cool.
Yeah.
And I had a combination. I had a big necklace that I had done because I used to wear a lot of statement pieces. I went to conventions and different things. I don't wear that anymore, so I take them apart. And here is what I put my flowers on. Let me see if I could. Let's see. I've got right here is one of the flowers, and then there's another one, and there's another one up here. So I took apart the necklaces and incorporated them into this big multimedia piece.
I love it.
Lovely.
I love it.
That's great.
What are is this an underwater and undersea?
Yes, it's coral reef.
Okay.
And it's got stingrays, polymer clay stingrays, and there's polymer clay octopus and jellyfish, and then embroidery, ice dyed cheesecloth, different fibers, and lots of beads. I got beads. I have so many beads, and I'm trying to use them, so they make nice little coral reefs.
It's fabulous. It's beautiful. I love it.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, this actually hangs in my guest bathroom.
It's beautiful.
It's wonderful. Well, I'll be down.
Excellent.
Great. Beautiful.
Okay, well, Barbara, you are up and you're on mute, so you got to take yourself off mute.
Spotlight.
Hey, I don't really have any flower things to show. I'm starting one of Laura's patterns, the spying eye necklace. So this is how much I have done. I still have to do 2 more layers of petals. I'm working on those, but the other things I've done don't really involve flowers. They're more vessels and stuff.
Okay, doing them.
You've got lots of flowers in your background.
Yeah. Well, I could at least do that.
That was really nice. Thank you for doing that. It's beautiful.
But I'm enjoying watching and listening.
Seeing what everyone's up to. Excellent. Cool. Well, next up, Becca, your turn.
Okay. Well, I am also somebody who doesn't do very many flowers. And so I had to go searching through stuff that I've beaded in the past to find something. And these are sort of flowers, and they're sort of they're bezeled, and they were inspired by the. And I'm going to try this trick, which is put my hand in back, and maybe it'll focus. They were inspired by the dichroic glass. So I used to live in Texas in a town called Denton, and they have a farmer's market, and there was a guy there who came to the farmer's market, and he made all these really cool cabs. And mostly he glued them on to stuff, and so I asked him if he would make some that were just cabs, and he did, and this is what he brought. And so I bezeled them, and I also bezeled the back because I am a back bezeler as well as a front bezeler. And these beads around the side are 2-hole beads. They're super duo beads, which I don't have very much of, but sometimes they're very handy. Oh, there we go. Here in focus.
Oh, good.
Oh, nice.
Anyway, and that's really all I have to show that I made.
Beautiful.
I think they're lovely, really nice.
Yeah,
and I have plenty of super duos, Becca. Plenty. I'm happy to donate them.
I I'm not really focusing on two-hole beads these days, thanks.
Oh, okay, that's all right.
But I'll keep it in mind if I change my mind. Thank you.
Excellent. Cool. Well, Nancy Graver, you are up next.
Okay, most of you have probably already seen this, but this is something that I recently finished. I call it Convergence.
I
And,
love it.
and
Oh,
it's obviously it's a Gene Power vessel, but I started playing with my iFlower from Laura's class. And so there, two of them are actual iFlowers that, I learned in that particular class. But then the third one, this is a tulip that I created using some Gene Power techniques,
Yeah.
but it was my own, I don't know,
Design.
Construction. Yeah. Yeah.
my own construction. And so, and the biggest problem I have with this is that it's a little top heavy. So the secret is, thank you, Laura, I have ball bearings in the vessel to help hold it down. And I did make one, what I consider a mistake, and that is that I used too thin a stem on the tulip so that the wire that's the stems are done around a craft wire to give them some body, but the tulip is a little too thin, so I had to use a very thin wire. And if I get ambitious, I may take it apart and put a new stem on it. But for the moment, it's sitting on my, with my other creations and freaking some of my friends out who
That's life.
understand. But I had a lot of fun. When it came together, I had a lot of fun with it, and I'm pretty, if I do say so, pretty chuffed about it because it just.
can you hold it up a little higher?
And Nancy, correct me if I'm wrong, but you combine Jean and Laura quite a bit. You come really up with your designs by combining lots of teachers' techniques and
Well,
design.
I look, I take a lot of classes.
Yeah.
And frankly, I'll never finish all of the kits and projects that I have. But if there's something that I can combine, and it happens that Laura and Jean are favorites.
But correct me if I'm wrong. This is not the first time you've showed us a combination.
No, it's not. So, but anyway, this is
I
Convergence.
like it very
Finished
much.
like last week, and it's
I love it. It's darling. It's wonderful.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
You know what else is really wonderful about it as a whole piece is the way the colors work together.
Yeah.
That was all right. So Laura, again, we were sitting and beading together, and I had when I started the vessel, I really wasn't, that wasn't what I was doing. I wasn't thinking of this, and then the eye flowers have been sitting here waiting for me to figure out what I wanted to do with them. Not totally finished, but in process. And I stuck this one, the red, it was a red, when we did the eye flower, we had, as I recall, we had a choice of colors, and I picked colors that were not necessarily in my comfort zone. That makes it even more challenging if you pick something that's not something you do all the time. And I stuck the big one in, and Laura looked at me and said, "No, that works. The colors work." And so I don't know. It makes me smile, and I'm if I do say so, I'm very proud of the way it came out.
And it also goes with your blouse.
Today. That's just today.
It's beautiful. Beautiful. Well done.
Really nice work, Nancy.
Yeah.
Very cool. Okay, Mary Crescent, you are up. And you're on mute too, so you have to unmute yourself. Oh, you're on mute, Mary. You're unmute.
All right, where's Mary? Here's Mary.
Hi, Mary Crescent.
There you go. I think you're there.
Okay.
There you go.
Now,
Yes.
okay. First of all, hello, Nancy Kane. Maggie Meister, I want to say limoncello to you. I don't know if you I don't know if you remember me from 2007 in Italy with Diane Ciolix. Yes, it's me.
Oh my
How
God.
many times have I told people how much fun we had on that trip? But
Oh,
it's so wonderful to see you again.
it's wonderful to see you. And you haven't changed a bit.
Oh,
Nor
yeah.
have
Thanks,
I.
Maggie.
You haven't changed at all. Yeah, well, limoncello. Yeah, if you ever need the recipe, Mary, I have it. But
Okay.
it's with
Laura
grain
makes a good limoncello too.
I have it with grain alcohol. So
So does she.
Okay, well, whatever. But I have to say, you were so much fun, and that was a trip of a lifetime. And it was so nice to see you again.
it's nice to see you again. And I love taking people to Italy,
And it was great. Bonjour. No, that's the wrong word. But anyway, it was fabulous.
Oh, I'm glad.
Now, Nancy Kane, I have to say to you, I have an entire, I can't really show it here, but it's like this big and this big of your pieces, because Kane's chain, I can go on and on and on of how many of your pieces I completed
thank you.
and how much I love taking from you. So it's wonderful.
Kentucky was a lovely group.
Well, we loved having you.
Thank you. I appreciate
And I
it.
wanted to go to Barcelona. I told my husband, I said, Nancy Kane is going to be in Barcelona. He said, well, does that mean you're leaving? I said, well, I would do it in a heartbeat, but it's great to see you.
Nice to see you as well. Thank you.
And this is one of my, I've taken so many of Laura's Zoom classes, Oceans, but I know we're on flowers. So this is my White Daisy, but I'm working on Black Eyed Susans, which is one of my favorites. Can you see it?
Cute. I love the way she bezels the crystal as the center.
Yes, so beautiful.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
And she's doing a which I would love to do, but I probably never will. Laura's making a chess set, and her flowers are going to be the parts.
Oh, fun.
I can tell you about that.
Wow.
So that's great to be here.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Thank you for coming.
Okay, who is next? Jane is next. And you are also on mute, so you'll have to unmute yourself. There we go. Hey.
This is my first time. I learned of it through Carole Tripp's newsletter. This is a bracelet from a Becky Healy's class called Monet's Garden.
Oh, wow. Beautiful.
Oh, how pretty.
Very nice.
The base.
I made that bracelet. I just forgot about it.
Yeah, she had three different colorways. Did you use these same colors or?
No, I didn't. I do a lot of purple and green. Mine is purple and white.
Oh, okay. That one was pretty too. Yeah.
I do. Yeah, I made that bracelet. I just forgot. I mean, I have lots of stuff in there. I just can't remember what it is. And I didn't look. But sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I love it. I love that bracelet.
Yeah, this was, so the base is Hubble stitch.
Yes.
And then it's embellished. And I had never done Hubble stitch before, but it's a little similar to right angle weave, but you use 3 beads and then you add a 4th bead. So it ends up, instead of everything being like right angles, the side beads are like at a kind of an angle.
Yeah.
And then it was a whole bunch of separate patterns for the flowers. So you can make whatever flowers you wanted and then arrange them how you wanted. So in the picture of the pattern, there was actually another one that was big, about the size as this one, that I didn't make because I have a small wrist and I didn't use the other one. So the centers on most of these are chatons. And then this one is a candy bead. And then these it's mostly seed beads, but this has pip beads in the back and then dragon scale beads. And like this one is peyote, but it's like 2 layers to make it like a flower.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice.
That's beautiful.
Really nice.
Yeah,
Really.
thank you. Yeah, I'm really into gardening
And could I ask a question, because you mentioned Hubble Stitch and our stitch expert is Valerie. Hubble Stitch, oh, her name is escaping me.
Melanie De La, Melanie De La Miguel, is that who it was?
No, Heather.
I
Heather
thought
Kingsley.
Heather
No, it
Kingsley
was-
Heath. Was she the one who developed Hubble?
I thought it was Sylvie Lansdowne.
I thought it was Melanie De La Miguel. So
I thought it was Heather Kingsley.
That's what I thought too.
Oh, maybe that's.
I have the.
I think it's Melanie.
I remember writing to Melanie and asking permission to use
Yeah, I think it's
in my instructions.
I think you're right, Maggie. I think you're right.
I think you're right too. I'm confusing it with Albion Stitch.
Right. Heather did
That's
Albion.
All right,
what
I'm sorry.
Heather.
I'm sorry. You're right.
Yeah.
Right. I confused the two.
That's right.
So cool. Love
But
it.
it's what's interesting is that, you know, Becky developed that. Was that her master class? A master class, or was it
I don't think so, because I probably would have shied away from a class that's in master class. Because at this point, I mean, I consider myself probably intermediate. And this was when the first, it was early on in COVID. And one of the good things, the few good things about COVID was then I had the opportunity then to take all these Zoom classes from these famous designers. And so my skills since then, since COVID started, have improved quite a bit. But I did go, like one year, it was maybe 2005 or something. I did go to the Bead and Button show, and it was neat to have such a variety of classes. But I don't have, the chairs, I found my back was bothering me because the chairs weren't comfortable and it was freezing and the lighting. So I really enjoyed being able to take these classes on Zoom. And so, for me, the hardest part, the Hubble stitch was pretty easy and went quick. And each of the components was fairly easy, but attaching them to the band and then, making the decision as to how to arrange them, that was, I found challenging. Pardon?
I think it's beautiful the way you arrange them.
Oh, I think it is too.
I really love it. I love that one is a little higher, it's perfect. I wouldn't mess with it at all. It's beautiful.
And it perfectly makes it your bracelet then.
I'm gonna go get my bracelet.
Yeah, she included, it's a slide clasp. This was from her kit, and this was really pretty. There's like little stones in it.
Oh, nice. Beautiful.
It's a pretty piece.
Oh, it's beautiful, Jane.
I have Carole Jones. You are not on video, so I'm guessing you don't have something to show on video. And you're on mute too. So
I'm unmuting myself. I'm trying to get back to where I was. Hold on.
Excellent.
No, I don't. You're correct. I don't have anything to show. And you're all making me miss that I haven't been beading for a long time. But now you're making me miss it and wish I had been, because I have a whole room of 2 rooms full of beads that I have yet to use, and I'm not sure I'll ever get to all of them, but I'm enjoying this very much, and maybe I'll be inspired to get back to some work. I've been knitting and gardening, and I'm jealous, Billy, that you can get out to garden so soon, because it's not gardening weather here yet. I mean, maybe pruning weather, but not gardening weather. So I don't know where you are, but in
Where are you,
Philadelphia, we're
Carole?
not gardening yet. So,
Where are you, Carole?
pardon me?
Where are you?
Philadelphia. Philadelphia.
You're right near my brother. So I
Philly.
was up there.
Yeah. So we're not quite ready to garden yet, although we've had some mild weather. So Billy, where are you that you're starting out in your garden?
You encouraged me to go get my bracelet.
Oh, okay. Let's see.
Yeah, I just, I didn't even think about all these bracelets I made and the ones I've had with the flowers on it. I just thought about it, but yes, the weather has been wonderful, and I'm looking forward to being in the garden tomorrow. Then I'll bead at night.
Carol, before you go away, I think you and I have met.
Me?
Yeah, Carol.
Oh,
Yes, I feel like we have, but I don't. I've
Are
taken
you
classes.
a volunteer over at Hillside Books?
Yes.
I met you at the top of Chestnut Hill.
You're
when you were
here in
selling books.
Philadelphia?
Yeah, I live in Roxborough.
Oh, yes, I do remember you. I was helping them sell books for
Yeah.
the volunteer thing.
Yeah,
Yes,
I'll show you what I was wearing, and
I
you
remember
me.
exactly what you were wearing. It
Yeah.
was a very colorful. It might have been. Was it
I was
peyote with a twist?
I was wearing this.
Yep.
You
Okay.
remember me now?
As soon as you said where we met, I remembered you. That's so funny.
Woo, it's good to see you.
Thank you. Okay, and Billy, where you never said where you are, Billy. Where are you located?
I'm in Madera, which is like Fresno, Central California.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
San Francisco. I'm in the food basket, what they call the food basket.
Okay.
We grow everything here, prunes.
Well, we've got at least another month and a half before much gardening's gonna happen.
Down here in Texas, it's been beautiful. It was in the 70s today. Of course, last week we had freezing. This week we have beautiful weather. So,
today is 75 here today.
Yeah.
Wow.
All week. It's supposed to get cold next week.
My orchids decided to bloom this week. They're like on an annual schedule. So some of my orchids are blooming finally.
Nice.
My camellias are coming up in spurts. So the reds, I mean, I love camellias, and the reds are up now. I have old plants. This house was built in 1940, and I have camellias from around that time. That's how big they are.
Nice.
And then up front, I planted some more, so I'm getting yellow. Now, it was interesting when we had snow last week. I mean, we had 8 inches, which is unheard of in Norfolk, Virginia. The whole city shut down for days. But I had the yellow camellias were blooming, but yet the ice was on them and on the leaves, the snow, and I took pictures of it. It was so pretty. But they survived. They're still blooming.
I love camellias, and I'm trying to grow them inside, but usually failing.
Well, the nice thing about being in Philadelphia now is that this is the weekend that the flower show opens, and the Pennsylvania Philadelphia Flower Show is the best in the country. I may be a little prejudiced, so but it is acres and acres of just wonderful. If you ever have a chance to go, it is just a fabulous show, and there's every possible. And I love flowers and gardens, so can't believe you're all making all these beautiful beaded flowers. But I'm going to go to the flower show.
I don't blame you. My brother lives outside of Philadelphia. He lives near Valley Forge, Phoenixville.
Okay, well, that's very close. Yeah, I'm sure most people in our area at some point go to the flower show. I mean,
I'm sure my sister-in-law does. She's an avid gardener. Yeah,
I'm sure she does. It is world-renowned flower show. So anyway, okay, thanks.
Cool. Billy, let's see your bracelet. I saw you had a bracelet there.
Yeah, it was the same one that what was the other lady's name? I just forgot.
Oh, yep.
Jane. Oh,
How
okay.
fun.
So
It's
you
beautiful.
use, yeah, you have
Becky
two of the
Hayes,
big
this was,
ones. Wow.
yeah, this was Becky Hayes' class about what, 5 years ago, I think it was. That
Beautiful. Oh,
Nice.
wow, that's
Yeah.
lush.
And
I
I
love
forgot what I made. Gold. I have a gold base and a lot of purple because I love purple. I work
Beautiful.
hard. I have to work hard at not making everything purple. Even my nails are purple.
Oh, your base looks
Oh,
different. It looks like it's peyote, your base, or
it is. It's the
oh,
peyote.
okay.
What, the 11? The base is 11. Bright gold. I love gold and I love rose gold too. So I do a lot of rose gold, a lot of gold, and because the necklace I'm making from Sabina from when she was here, I switched. I'm doing a pink, and I do have a flower that I made that. Oh, look, I forgot that I was making a flower.
Oh,
I'm,
look at you.
yeah, I forget. Well, this is my first time, so I was just concentrating on trying to
Oh,
get
yeah.
it.
Oh,
So
yeah. Oh, it's wonderful.
this is part of the bracelet, the necklace. It's a necklace that I'm making.
It's
So
pretty.
those are just daggers.
Nice.
So yeah,
Very cool.
and it's
Awesome.
going to be pink in the end when I'm done, but not. I think it has a little purple in it, but not very much.
It's really interesting to see the same initial pattern beaded by two different people.
Yeah.
Yes, and it depends on the color and the
Yeah.
placement of the flower. And I do have another one that I never finished. You know, what I'm doing a project. I used to try to do two of them so I can really get the stitch down. But then halfway through the second one, I'm tired of it. So it's in the drawer somewhere.
Mm.
So maybe one day in this second life, it might happen. So
Good way to put it.
who knows?
Well,
Anyway,
Valerie, it's your turn. Your turn.
Okay. Fun. Let me see if I can spotlight myself. I don't know if I can. Oh yeah, I can. Okay. Okay, here we go. All right. So I didn't bring anything I made because I haven't made beaded flowers and since I was a kid and you don't want to see them and I don't want to show them. So I
those are the best ones, Valerie.
they're really, well, if you insist, I will get them, but I mean, you know, I'll be highly embarrassed. Okay. So I brought some Chinese hair ornaments.
Oh my God, that's
Oh,
This one,
Oh,
I think the base and these little jade-like elements are original, but I think it's been over beaded or rebeaded recently, you know, probably to try and get it to sell, because if you look at an old one, you see there's a lot of difference. You know, there's a lot of subtlety in this one, whereas this one is just really strong. And it looks a lot newer, though it is based on an old that a lot of the parts are old in this one, but here everything is old, you know, and it's just
my
wire work.
God,
And
they're beautiful.
you know, I love them. I absolutely love them. And it's like wire work and I don't know, some kind of free form wire work with the coral beads and the little kingfisher feathers, the blue. And then I think that the light celadon greenish things are some kind of stone. I don't know if they're jade or jade-like or jadeite. I don't know. They could also be glass. I'm not sure. But here's the back side, and I love looking at the back side too. To see the structure, you know?
Ah,
And here the back side. I think they've just re put silk over the wires, right? Put new fresh silk on because
yeah.
normally the silk is really worn out and faded, you know, for the most part. And here's another one. Completely different style, right? And I think this is about 1900 because I've seen examples in the American Museum of Natural History collection that were collected around 1900. So you can kind of see it's sort of floralish. It's
Oh,
floralish
yeah.
in different ways. And this motif at the bottom is, I think, a bat, you know, the word for bat in Chinese is a homophone or homophone, I think, for the word good luck. So anytime you see a bat, you think, okay, good luck.
That
Right?
is beautiful.
I was very, very, very lucky to get these. I think I got a pair of them. Otherwise, for the book I'm writing, my only hope is to rent usually for $250 each, whatever image I want to reproduce from a museum collection. And it's just easier to just buy the piece in China for $10, than to rent the image if you can get a good one. So this is like many, many years ago. I don't think pieces of this caliber come up at flea markets like they used to, but they used to,
Oh my gosh, can you imagine? That
I
is
know.
That is
Flea
beautiful.
markets in the US or flea markets in China?
Beijing, the Panjiayuan flea market is where I met these dealers. There was a youngish couple, and all they trafficked in was antique hair ornaments. And I would
Oh,
go and
Oh my God.
God, I can't afford all the ones I want. So I'd have to choose which ones did I want. And I had a very hard choosing. But it helped that I knew that, for instance, this style, I had seen it in a museum, so I knew it was authentic, and I also knew the approximate date. So they're totally real. A lot of things in China nowadays, everywhere, are fake or reproduced. So like this, there's something very funky about this compared to, for instance, this. So knowing the general age of a piece really helps, in terms of not buying fakes, which I've done. I've bought fakes, both knowingly and unknowingly. So then there's one more here. I love looking at two similar ones to see how they varied
Oh, look at that.
design, because it's not a pair, but it like sort of could be. And I have others too, but I just thought these really were the most interesting and pretty.
God, they're beautiful.
They're pretty.
do you think that they were made by the same hand?
Honestly, I just really don't know. I don't know if these are workshop pieces so that, the beading was done by certain people and the wire work by other people, and that these little platelets were made by, I just don't know. There was a lot of workshop work in China. So I don't think it was the case that these were made by individual artists, right? Because they produced too many of them. They were kind of mass producing them, so to speak, even like 100, 120 years ago. So I don't know that one artist would make the whole thing start to finish. I think it was an assembly kind of approach, because in China, this assembly line type of approach, this componential approach, was very common. So they would have all the different parts ready and then just assemble them according to different designs.
So Henry Ford didn't really invent the assembly line then?
Well, I probably shouldn't use the word assembly line, the phrase assembly line, with respect to China, but it is a fact, and books have been written on the componential production approach in China and its antiquity, right? So it goes back a very, very long time. They just get certain parts ready, and then they combine them in different ways to produce different types of objects, right, which are still similar, but different. There's an identity, but there's also a difference. So I don't know, if anyone's ever compared that to Henry Ford's approach. Honestly, I don't know. That's a great question.
It's that component thing that's so interesting. I
Component
like
thing, maybe, yeah.
the idea of components
Yeah.
and
And
mix
putting-
and matching.
Yep. And in fact, that's how the warriors in Xi'an were made, by this exact approach. And that has been written about. And that is how their bodies, their armor, can look more or less the same, and their arms more or less the same, but the faces are completely different.
Wow.
That's componential approach is part of what went into creating the army. So that little much I know, not much.
Cool.
Oh, I think you know a lot more.
That's a lot.
What do you do?
All right, Laura, it's your turn, right?
Yeah, I think I got everybody. Yeah, I think I got everybody. Yeah, I brought two pieces. I do lots of flowers. But these are pieces I did for a friend, and he kindly lent them back to me for a little while here so I could show you, because they're ones that I don't think people will have seen. I haven't put photographs of them or anything out there. So the first one is a little it's a sculpture. See if I can hold it up for you guys.
Yeah.
It's got some different flowers. There's one that has like a dragon's eye in the center.
Oh, I love it.
Oh,
Right.
Nice.
Gorgeous.
This is I do these berry clusters with, you can't really get them anymore. Swarovski made these pave beads, which are great. You can get similar ones. I think the quality of the Swarovski was very, very good. You can get similar stuff, but it doesn't seem to be quite as good. But they don't really make them anymore. But all it is basically is the pave beads stitched onto a peyote tube. But if you do, you know, the sort of graduation in size, you get kind of this nice little berry cluster with those. So and those guys are all on. I use aluminum craft wire, and that kind of, you know, that way you can bend them around however you want. And it actually has a dome. I took the dome off of it, but it has a dome that goes over the top, so it's like a cloche
I
dome.
love spike bead. I love them all, but I love that little spiky bead. That's
I know,
fabulous.
right?
Very cute.
Yeah. And then this was the other one. It's one of my little creatures that I made. And he's got a little flower face. And then I used for the stone spikes, I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see it, but there's two different types. These ones are blue gold stone, so they're almost like sparkly. And then there's these other ones, which are, it's an antique glass. It's kind of a sort of a spirally green and blue glass that was cut into points. So Gary Wilson did those for me. But that's that little guy, and he's hollow form, so there's nothing inside there. It's all like geometry making it solid. Yeah, but I do tons of stuff with eyes, and he has a little necklace. I don't know if you can see that. There's like a little crystal on there. I like to dress them up, you know. So, but yeah, those are a couple of my flowers. So
I love the colors, this red and
Yeah.
green color combination.
Beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Very effective. Very
I love it's funny, like red and green, it's like you don't want it to be too Christmassy. So sometimes it can be, well, unless it's Christmas, but sometimes I find it challenging to kind of like, you know, combine them but not have it go to Christmas. So I find sometimes if I go a little bit more orangey on the red, it works well, which is what I did on the orange.
Do you also find, because I've been playing with this recently, that if you do a red but an olive green or a duller
blue green, yeah.
sage green helps?
Yeah, it does, definitely. Yeah, get away from that sort of pine green and do, yeah.
That teal, you know, the Victorian Christmas thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my little friends.
Wonderful.
Nice.
Yeah,
Well,
gorgeous.
congrats to everybody for your beading adventures.
I'm having a thunderstorm. It's February.
You're having a thunderstorm?
I just heard thunder just now.
Wow.
Really loud.
We're having
in Alberta, Clipper, and all north of us is getting lots of snow.
Oh,
But
wow.
I'm on the north shore of Lake Ontario. And
Oh,
I just
wow.
heard a big clap of thunder.
Wow.
Oh gosh.
we're on fire a little
Sorry.
here.
Okay.
It's too hot.
Katie, I'm just crazy about the, you know, all we can talk about is the weather.
That here too. Fun too, yeah. Cool. Well, I think we did everybody then, didn't we? I think.
I'm trying to re-spotlight
Great-
you. I don't
great,
know how re-spotlighting you. I can't understand this.
I am spotlighted, I think, right?
Oh, you are.
Yeah, you are.
Yes.
You were.
Spotlighted for me. Oh, okay. All right. Well, all right. I don't get it, but that's all right. It's beyond me. That's okay.
Laura, what is this blue machine next to you?
Oh, you know what it is? It's I use it for, it's a grommet press. So like when I make corsets, I use it to put the grommets in the corsets. So they're kind of cool. It has see if I can pull it out. It has like dies of different sizes that you put in, so you can do all different you know, different size grommets.
Wow.
Yeah. And they
Are you
just
making corsets right now?
What do you put the grommets in? Do you
I do. I haven't done it for a while, but I do corsetry, so I'll make corsets. And so I mean, traditionally you would hand hammer in the eyelets, but I cheat
Yes.
and I use the grommet machine because they come out neater. So, but
I haven't seen one of those for a long time. I used to do a lot of that.
By
Oh.
the way, Laura is too modest, but she's working on something to celebrate 30 years.
Yeah, you should show them that picture.
The flower, because they're flowers.
yeah, they are. Yeah, I think most of, well, they're eyeball pieces. I think.
But
Yeah,
they're
But they're still cool.
Yeah. Can you show us anything? Can you give us a hint?
Can I share you a picture? I'm trying to think. Let me see if I can do a share. And then that was probably the easiest way because a picture's worth a
1,000 words.
thousand. Yeah, let me see if I can pull up a picture.
Now it's really gonna sell out.
I know, right? Hopefully. Let's
Like
see.
you really have to worry. And it's because you already know you've got pre-orders.
I do. That's true.
We keep
Okay,
telling her they're going to sell out. There's no question.
let me see if I can do a share. I'm not sure. No, sharing is not turned on. So if I send a request to Valerie,
Just 1 second.
you get a request?
I'm going to make you co-host, and then you should be able to.
Oh, yeah, I we can. Share. Yes, I can.
Should work.
Share. Can you guys see that?
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're all different. It's a kit box that I've made, but that's a flower. The bracelet's a flower. And then it's just a ring. There's a little ring and there are a pair of earrings. And then this piece, the big necklace, is one that it was the first two eye necklaces I ever made were for a surrealist art show in New York in like 1999, and that was one of them. So I never made it up as a kit. So I made it as a kit for 30 years. I figured it's time. So yeah, it has a bunch of little, like there's little beaded flowers, there's glass flowers, there's a lot of leaves and stuff like that. So there are kind of flowers in that as well.
Nice. Very nice.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So this is the
That's lovely.
30th anniversary kit set.
Yeah, that's the one I'm doing. Yep. And I did a little book even too. So that's nice.
Laura, you're amazing. You are amazing.
So it keeps me out of trouble, which is good.
Wow.
So.
And
Keep you on
contributing.
straight,
And it puts the postmistress in her town.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah.
I live in such a small town, you guys. I have 1,700 people in my town, and we have, first of all, the post office has 2 parking spots, and they're never both full. And then when you go in, if I bring more than about 10 boxes, the postmistress, like, they just can't handle it. It's like way too much. So I have to kind of, when I do shipping, I have to kind of break it down over several days. Otherwise, it wreaks havoc because it's such a tiny post office. There's nowhere to put the boxes. So
Where do you live? Where do you live, Laura?
I live in Hampton, Connecticut, which is the northeast corner of Connecticut. It's very, like, we're very rural and agricultural up in this part of Connecticut. But the only thing people do know is University of Connecticut. UConn is like 2 towns over. But that's, there's, other than that, it's pretty rural. So, yeah.
Yeah, they have great basketball teams.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
The women are always
They're awesome. Yeah.
I love basketball, so
That's Carole Tripp's.
Alma mater.
That's
Yeah,
her
my
jam.
alma mater. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the year when the men and the women's both won the,
yes,
yeah.
that's good.
Mhm.
I have to leave, ladies. I just want to say goodbye and thank you so much.
Oh, it's
It's
so
been
good to
really fun.
Bye,
to-
Nancy.
Nancy, it's great to see you.
Thank you.
It was
Be well.
nice.
Happy beading.
Be well, Nancy.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you, Nancy.
Anybody have any more comments, observations, things they want to offer? If not, we'll say
Uh,
goodbye. Please go ahead, Billy.
I was just going to ask, what is the next meeting going to cover? Today was flowers, so maybe I could get
Bracelets.
bracelet, just
March
a bracelet.
28th, Friday, March 28th, we're going to talk about bracelets, any kind of bracelet at all. Beaded bracelets.
Okay, maybe I can be a little bit more prepared this time.
You know what I think we should do? I mean, on you guys, I'm gonna run this.
That's fabulous.
I'm gonna run this by you. I think you got to tell me what you think. But when we were talking today, I was like, we should do one where everybody talks about how they organize their beads, because I find
Yes,
it
yes.
to know how everyone organizes, and maybe we could like take a little bit from each other and like maybe get more organized or not. I don't know.
God, you
great
don't
idea.
want to know how I organize them.
That would be a cool idea for maybe month after next, so we
Yeah.
have time to
Yeah.
clean up and organize and
I'm not even going to change. I
Yeah.
just got mine into don't even ask.
But you know what, the other thing to go along with that are things that you've tried and that didn't work.
Yes.
watchmaker tins. Watchmaker tins. Yes.
And what do you do with all the things that you buy that you think's going to work, and then you have a whole cabinet full of them left over and they don't work? What do you do with all that stuff? I'm having a garage. I have an estate sale sometime early spring. Right now, my patio and my garage is full because I had my grandson clean out the shed in the backyard. So that's
one of the things you can do, and I just learned this, our friend Lisa Garoon just closed her store in Chicago. And what she did with a lot of her stuff was donated it to the, I believe it was DePaul. I don't know, Valerie, you may know, DePaul University.
I think it's DePaul, yeah.
Theater department. And, I've been going through my stuff because it just is, it's crazy. And I'm looking for a place down here where I could possibly donate.
A lot of time too, if you can find a lot of the schools, they don't have very good budgets for the art.
Right.
And so if you can find a public school too, that some of them actually do. I know my public school did jewelry making, and so I have donated stuff for their jewelry making program. But it's always an issue with them because they don't have a budget.
Yeah, I've donated a lot of craft supplies because I was in the industry, so I've got a lot of diversified at our high school because they have an innovations department, and they do that, and they love that. And then another thing I've done is like for one of the neighborhood girls, she had knee surgery, so she wasn't mobile. So I did her a whole kit, on jewelry making stuff. I threw in some tools, some beads, some wires, different things, and then gave that to her for her, while she. And that's another thing to consider, is if you've got people in your neighborhood or such. So
I have also found, if you go to the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation, they have a program for young teens who are at risk, and they have crafts programs, and I have donated to them, sent them boxes.
Yeah,
I like that.
Boys and girls clubs are another option.
Good to know. Boys and girls.
I missed what you said, Carole.
I'm sorry, the Boys and Girls Clubs. That's the name of them. They're the Boys and Girls Clubs. They usually provide before school and after school activities for kids.
Okay. I like it. All right, guys, is that everything?
I think so. Bracelets in 1 month. Get yours.
Bracelets in a month.
Storage systems in 2 months. Okay. Our
I think I'm going to be on vacation.
Thank you all.
But Maggie, you and I will say what doesn't work.
Yeah, that's true. We can say what doesn't work.
Yeah, that's you and I.
Anyway, thanks, you guys. It was wonderful as always.
Thank you.
Thank you, Laura, Maggie.
Bye.